Well, going out my back door, this is an old chicken house that I just haven't torn down. And this is where I'm going to start sprouting some seeds. Well, let me take you in here and show you what I mean. Now, it's been a long time since I've had some chickens in here, but as you can see, this thing is still standing quite good, I guess. This thing is probably like 15 years old, I think. It's been up here for 15 years, so you can see 15 years of use or 15 years of being in the sunshine. This is what's happened to it. Right now it's middle of January, and I think the temperature outside at the moment is probably about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, with the nighttime temperatures, even right now, always getting below freezing in here. You can't transplant anything at the moment because the minute you do, it's going to freeze that night and they're gone. But one thing you can do is you can start seedlings in here. A long time ago, I was working on a project and I built these things, these two boxes. As you can see, you can open them up and let me bring you over here to show you what I'm talking about. And you can build something like this. This is really quite easy. And if you look at it, this is just plywood and that's it. And it's got some insulation on the inside. But here's what it does. Let me hook. Got two hands here. Let me hook this little hook on there. Yeah, hold it open. Now, as you can see here, there's some insulation on the inside. It's not really great. There's but anyway, what this is simply a thermometer, the kind that you would get to control a heater in your house. It's called a line thermometer, I think. So you run the AC power right through that, and it directly runs power to your heater. In this case, the heater are just a couple of incandescent light bulbs. Now, these are getting harder and harder to find these days, but what they do is they generate heat, and that's why they've replaced them over the years with LEDs and so forth, because they generate a lot of heat for the amount of light they give you. So, but as you can see down there, see that little thermometer? I don't know if you can, let me tilt it so you can see it better. 70 degrees. Now keep in mind that that's probably a good temperature to germinate a lot of seeds. And let's see now. You see if you turn this dial, you can watch. See, there we go. So you turn it up a little more. And you can turn the lights off and on. Right now, it thinks it's about 70 in here. So we'll turn it a little hotter. What I want to do is get this up to about 75 and hold it there. And then I'm going to plant seedlings in these trays. So we'll get back to that in just a minute. Let me close this one. And leaving this greenhouse, what we do is right across here. This is what I call my main greenhouse. And this one's built a little bit more substantial. And it is quite a bit warmer in here. Right now it says 66 degrees in that thermometer up there. And even here it got down to 23 degrees last night. So it still freezes in here too. But this is where the target is. These grow beds have been here all winter. That's lettuce, and that's some celery, and then over here is some broccoli, cauliflower, and things like that. Now these have been growing all winter. As I think I may have told you before, I planted these in the late fall last season, and as you can see, they grew, but they didn't die. Some of them didn't anyway. And right now it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's getting, like right now it's like 66 degrees, like I said, in here. Sometimes it gets up to 70 degrees in here. But then at night it gets down to freezing or below a lot of times still. But these are cold hardy plants. They'll survive, but they won't grow very well. They'll grow very slowly. Like I was saying, I planted these in probably October or something like that, or maybe even August. But August, I'm not going to January, February. So these are 6 months old, and this is all the growing they've done in 6 months because it's cold in here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some new broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and those kind of things. And I'm going to put them in here. Let me show you what I've got. Now, I've got a whole lot of grow beds over here. These are floating raft, and this is the cabbage, and I think it's cauliflower and broccoli. But they're right here, and I'm going to fill that one full of cauliflower and broccoli. And I've got some cleaning up to do, obviously. But that's the intent. And that's what I'm going to do with these. So, let's get to planting the seedlings. I had a whole bunch of packages of basic broccoli or Brassica seeds. And I threw them in a container, and they were opened up on the top, and I thought they'd be standing up just fine. But in handling them and moving things around, they all spilled out. So I had these seeds in this can, and there was a mixture of all kinds of Brassica in there, and I couldn't tell them apart anymore. Anyway, rather than throw them away, I used these seeds to plant my seedlings. So now I have a collection of possibly cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. So when it comes harvest time, it's going to be potluck what actually comes up. But they're all going to be brassicas of some kind or another. Okay, these have been in here for 3 days, I think now, but take a look at this. There is some sprouting going on. So yeah, we'll let that grow a little bit, and we'll have some plants to transplant here before long. Now these seeds have been in this little incubator thing for, I think, 3, 4, 5 days. I can't remember exactly. I'll put something on here to show you, but let's look. Oh, look at that. Let's see what the temperature is. Well, we're 65, something like that. But anyway, look. Now these are all, again, these are some kind of brassicas. I'm not sure. They were all mixed together, but see, some of them are growing really good. And yeah, we ought to get a whole bunch of these. So we'll let these grow and pull them out when they get bigger. Okay, today I took one of the seedlings out of my little seed starter there. They're getting a little leggy, and I planted them in here. Planted this one in here because I want to see, give it a day or two and see how it recovers. Now the problem is, in this greenhouse, it still freezes at night sometimes. So this is one of the brassicas, so they should tolerate it, but I don't know if they'll tolerate it when they're that young. So let me put this one in here, and if it doesn't seem to have any ill effects, then I'll start planting the rest of them. All right, let's have a look at how these seedlings are doing in here. And boy, they are doing quite well. They're getting leggy because I think there are light bulbs in here for heat, but I think that it's not enough for them. They're still reaching for the light somewhere. But anyway, I've got enough of these. It's time to plant them. Here is the little seedling that I transplanted in here last night, and as you can see, it is doing fine. Didn't have any problem. So okay, we'll get started on transplanting these, and we'll start growing them. Now it's right now, just so you know, it's in the middle. It's about January 22nd, I believe, today. So we're still in the middle of the winter. There are two kind of net cups that you can buy. Look at the bottom of these two cups. See that? One of them's got great big quadrants, 4 quadrants there. And the other one's got more of a fine mesh wheel spoke looking thing. Anyway, this one here will hold the perlite a lot better than this one will, obviously, because it'll kind of fall right through there. So what I'm looking for is these. There's still quite a few of these in the old grow beds here, so I'm going to find these, and then we'll use those to transplant the new ones. Okay, so I've got it kind of cleaned up here, and here is the first of those planter pots that I've got, and I'm going to transplant these. Now, this is wet enough that you can pull these out just easily, and then you can get them all by the roots and all. And so, but the one problem here, I'm noticing that some of these, see, they're kind of broken, so I don't want to use those. See, here's another one that bent over. They're getting just too leggy. So some of these I'm going to throw out. And I've got so many of them that I can really afford to do that. And here's another one that's just completely broken off. So anyway, we'll throw out the bad ones. And then what we'll do is we'll transplant them one by one into these little grow pots filled with perlite. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is I'll take one of these grow pots right here, and I have a lot of recycled perlite in here, and what we'll do is simply put a little bit in the bottom here, and then squish it over to one side. Kind of lay one of these plants down in there. Let's get one out of here. Now you can see we've got this one out with no damage, so we'll put that in the bottom of the pot, and then we'll fill the rest of this with perlite. And then we shall place that one right there. Now we'll do that with all of these plants and fill this whole thing up all the way up and down here. And that's how we'll do this. Well, okay, I'm all done here. I planted a lot of these. You can see there's little plants in a lot of these right here. And I've done it all the way up and down. Now you might wonder why over in this area I haven't planted anything, because I have plans for that later on. Anyway, they're all done, but I have a lot of plants left over. Now, I don't have anything planted in these planter boxes yet, so I'm just putting these flats out here. And these broccolis or whatever they are getting a little too leggy for the seed sprouter, seed germination box. So we'll put them out here, and it may freeze in here, and we'll let them grow. And I'll figure out what to do with them, because I hate to waste them. But look at this here. This is interesting. Looks like some stray beets have been planted in here. Anyway, we'll keep watering these, and hopefully they don't die overnight because it's freezing. And as you can see, these little Brassica plants, whatever they are, they're doing fine. And looking down here, you can see they're all thriving. They're all doing quite well. So, and down here, if you can see them, I'll get a little closer. So they're all doing quite well. I'm still hoping that some of these that got kind of leggy will thicken up and do well. But they're all doing quite well. Nobody's looking like they want to die. And it has frozen in here every night since these have been put in. So they're doing well. They're tolerating the freezing weather quite nicely. And I think once it starts warming up in here, probably in about, I don't know, a couple of weeks, they'll start growing quite rapidly. So we'll see what happens then.